Hello everyone and welcome back to SimRacingOnline. This is round 5 of the TC Legends Championship, and this time we are at Willow Springs in America, right in the desert. In fact, it's a very kind of deserty looking circuit, and we're about to see some action here. Let's watch Kimi Martikainen because he is just about to start. Actually, let's go on board with the Mercedes driver because he is about to start a flying lap and about to show us around the circuit. Turn 1 is a left-hander, as you can tell. Very thin curb on the inside. You've got to set yourself up for the exit. Don't hit that massive bank on the outside. You're going to go for a ramp if you do. Turn 2 is a long right-hander. Someone I was speaking to for this race compared it to Parabolica, and that shoots you out towards the uphill section. This one of the iconic scenes of the Willow Springs circuit. The left, right, almost hairpinny chicane up the hill before you flick down into a little downhill wiggle. Has to get on the brakes right when you least expect it there. Sliding the car out. The Mercedes may well struggle today actually, because we saw last time out that it was extremely strong on a circuit with more straights, but Willow Springs, a lot of it is medium speed corners and difficult braking zones and things like that. So I'm not expecting the Mercedes to be quite as competitive as it was last time, but I'm sure we shall see. And then the final corner is a really long one, double apexed. But that takes you out towards the start-finish straight again. And that lap time for Kimi Martikainen was, as he crosses the line, it was a 1:37.053, which sure enough is about 4.2 seconds. Ooh, is he sliding? 4.2 seconds slower than some of the leaders. Looks like the Porsches are leading so far. You've got Kirill Kirilov in the Porsche 911 RS, currently well and truly at the top of the times, improving even further. And he is a long way up in front, almost a second ahead of Tony Talviti, who's just set the second time in another Porsche. Let's take a look at this view so you can see the car as well, and let's look back through the order. So Shabalako has a Ford Escort. Now he is third in the championship, so he is one driver that you really have to look out for. Only one podium so far this season, but he's been consistently in the top 5. And has done a very good job. Bill Grucock has a Ford Mustang, the red number 5 Ford Mustang, and he is another driver who's made every race so far this season. Kimi Martikainen in the Mercedes was my driver of the day last time out at Mexico, although this time out the Mercedes may well struggle a little more. Phil Brown has the MGB GT, which I'm not sure has actually set a fast lap yet. You can see on the times that it hasn't, so still some time to be found there. Johnny Gutierrez in the Mazda RX-3, which won Monaco in the hands of Ted Ho. And Ted Ho doesn't appear to be on the grid here again, which is a shame, although he was in the YouTube chat earlier. He also appears to be registered for this event, because I can see him down there in 22nd place. So whether he makes it out or not, I'm not entirely sure, but we shall see. Let's see if we can find any other cars. Sid Drake has a BMW 2002, and very nice looking one at that. Yellow roll cage, that's interesting, in the red livery. And he is about to cross the line. Let's see where this lap puts him. He goes, he does improve up the, no he doesn't, sorry, that was slower than his previous time. Meanwhile, Lauren Lunsder has just jumped up to third. There he is in the number 46 BMW. Lauren Lunds today is our championship leader. He's only 7 points ahead of Lorenzo Galuzzi, but yeah, could potentially wrap up the championship. Probably won't because of the way the series goes, but it could potentially wrap it up today. And is that all of our cars, well, you've got Mark Jonzo and Jose Branco, who we haven't seen before. Mario Labioda has the Alfa Romeo, the Alfa GTA, which he's just taken back to the pits. And I believe there's one more type of car. There's Max Shepard, currently 4th in the order, and John Van der Geest in the amazing liveried Ford Escort. Michal Mazurek, Alfa GTA. There is one more car that I want to show you. Oh, okay, so it appears Ted Ho is here. Not sure whether he's going to be racing or not. Ignore the Mini. There's the Toyota 2000 GT. Lorenzo Galuzzi, who won last time out, and the very last car that we have here today is the Austin Healey of Maxime Tendil, who is currently in position 14. So let's go to a slightly better camera angle so you can see the cars flying through the midsection of the circuit. Apologies to anyone who has made every round of this series and has had to sit through me showing off all the cars over and over again. It's just I have to do that just in case anyone hasn't made the previous rounds of the series. But anyway, hello to everyone joining us in the YouTube chat. Good to see you all here. Ted Ho says, oh whoa. Rob Milliken says hi. Roll Postma says hi boys. Davide Shiarichi says hey. And Roll Postma says looks like a fun class. Indeed it is a very, very fun class. Always great to see them racing here, and yeah, it's been a great series so far. In terms of the championship standings, remember it's Laurent Lons leading by 7 points over Lorenzo Galuzzi. Shaba Lacquer is 3rd in the championship, little way behind. Lons, incidentally, yet to score his first victory in this championship, and will be hoping to score one in the final 2 rounds of the series. The top driver who hasn't made every round of this series is Kirill Kirilov in 4th in the championship. Then it's Mark Johnson, Jeffrey Ruskus. Interesting to see that Ruskus isn't here today. He's been one of the main contenders in all of the previous races, but yeah, he doesn't appear to have showed up, which is a shame. Pretty gutting actually, since he has already taken a win in this championship. Kimi Martikainen is 7th in the championship, followed by John Van der Geest, Michal Mazurek and Bill Grukok, and that's how the top 10 stand. But anyway, the order of today, it appears we have about 20 cars on the grid. Still not sure about Ted Ho, but 20 cars have set laps so far. And not a particularly close grid. You have about 5 or 6 seconds separating all of the cars, but that's okay. You still get battles all the way up and down the order, no matter no matter how fast you are. You'll always find someone to race against in this season. Tendil completing another lap, not improving. Shabalako does, however. He goes up to 3rd position. Let's have a look at some of our other drivers in the top 5. Max Shepard there in the BMW. Mac appears to have had a different livery of BMW every time she races, but anyway. Heading up the hill. She was saying to me earlier that this circuit is a really tough one to get right. It's tough to get into a rhythm. And she feels like she's struggling, even though she's not particularly far off the pace. Yeah, maybe a second or so, but you know, still in the top 5, and not that far behind the car in front. Lorenzo Galuzzi now has jumped up to P5, last time out's winner. If you didn't see the last race, which is at Mexico City, I would advise going back to watch that after this, because it was a cracking race. Definitely the best one of the season so far. Very much enjoyed it. And it was unpredictable the whole way through. So yeah, I would very much recommend that. And I believe Ted Ho is on track, so it looks as if we do have our Monaco race winner here. He's late to qualifying, but he is on track, so we'll see just what he can do. That lap from Max Shepard wasn't particularly quick. Certainly wasn't her best. So let's watch Laurent Lons. Appears to have a little bit of traffic up the road, but anyway. has started the first lap. It says he's 7 seconds down, so I'm not sure if he actually is on a first lap. However, he is right behind Ted Hur there. Now Hur's on his out lap, but it's great to see him here anyway in the number 15 Mazda. He missed the last round, not entirely sure why, but he's back. And let's see if he can keep up a 100% win streak after Monaco. It's going to be tough. Monaco was a close race between him and Jeffrey Ruskas, but anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure Lons actually is on a first lap here because he appears to be down on his time. Shabalako also down on his time, although not by quite so much. Half a second. Still, it's going to be tough to redeem this lap, but anyway. Still doable. We don't actually see that much of Shaba in this series because he's always running somewhere in the top 5, but always appears to be not really in a battle, just kind of driving his own race and not getting involved, which often is the best kind of strategy. But yeah, anyway. Second sector time, 1.4 seconds down on the split. So that will not be an improvement. What about Tony Talviti? He has just started another lap. Also, I'm keeping an eye on the bottom right hand side of the screen where you can see Ted Hur's lap being set. He's done a purple subsector. His other sectors haven't seemed quite so good, but still, purple subsector is a good sign. Talviti into the left-hander. Not many left-handers on this circuit. It's predominantly a right-hander track. There are only 3 left-hander corners actually. You've got turn 1, then you have the one going up the hill, followed by the little downhill wiggle you can see in the background there. And that's about it for left-handers. Most of the time you're either turning right or going straight ahead. Usually you're trail braking, and ooh, Talviti there touched the grass, or the sand I should say. That may cost him this lap. It looks as if it was going to be an improvement, and he comes into the pits. Now we're almost going to see the checkered flag here. Let's see what Ted Hur does. Crosses the line. Where does this put him? Puts him P3. Not bad at all from Ted Hur. But yeah, the checkered flag is now out. So let's switch back to a few of the other cars. Martikainen goes 14th. Max Shepard says 12th, although Shepard is still 7th, so I'm not sure why that said 12th, but anyway. What about Phil Brown? Just on the fringes of the top 10, trying to break into the higher positions in the order. Did Ted Hur cross the line before the checkered flag came out? Because he may actually get another lap in here. I have to keep an eye on that as well. If that was his first. Oh, and Kirilov's gone even quicker there, 133.724. And that is almost definitely pole position now. The only person I can see potentially challenging him is Ted Hur, but not by much. Ooh, Brown dips wheels off the road and comes into the pits. So let's have a look at... Oh, and Hur's off the road. So that will not be an improvement from him. Lorenzo Galuzzi, let's see what he can do. Final corner. Final corner proving tough. Load of people dumping wheels onto the sand through here. Galuzzi crosses the line. The line's rather late actually, and it is it puts him third, 135.072, so knocks her out of the top 3. And that's the qualifying order. It's Kira Kirilov on pole by 6/10 of a second, 0.624. That is a big gap, and Kirilov took a wonderful pole position there in the Porsche, ahead of fellow Porsche driver Tony Talviti. The top non-Porsche was Lorenzo Galuzzi in 3rd place. And then it's Ted Hur, Shabalake, Laurent Luns, championship leader, only 6th place. Max Shepard, Mark Jonzo, Johnny Gutierrez, Phil Brown, Sid Drake, Mihail Masharek, Christian Darga, Kimi Martikainen, John Van de Geest, Stefan Lagodin, Maxim Tendel, Mariusz Lebioda, Jari Lakkinen, Bill Grukok, and then the final driver rounding out the grid will be Jose Branco. So that's the grid order. We have just over a minute until the start of the race, and then we will be getting underway. And and racing for an hour at Willow Springs. My Papa H1 says, hi guys, Roger Hines here. Oh, good to see you here, Roger. Just saw they were streaming SRO. Indeed, this is SRO, and we are indeed streaming. Datsun Safari looks nice. We don't actually have any Datsun Safaris on the grid. We did have a Datsun 510 earlier this season, but that dropped out. Not sure quite what you're referring to there. Maybe the Mazda RX-3? Anyway, Rob Milliken says, hi, it kind of looks like another planet. Indeed, Willow Springs does have a kind of Mars-y look to it. It's very kind of deserty and a little bit rusty looking. But I do really appreciate the amount of variety we have in terms of the circuits we're going to this season. Willow Springs, not really a circuit that I've seen raced at before in many other series at all. And we've also been to Bajkanieki, to Interlagos, Monaco, Mexico City, and next time out we will be going to Poznan in Poland. So massive variety of circuits on the calendar. Slow circuits, fast circuits, wide, narrow, you name it. And that makes it a really fair test actually to see, you know, which is the best car and the best driver combination over all of those different types of circuit. Anyway, we're about to get the lighting gantry. 6 red lights, and when they go out we'll be underway for an hour of Willow Springs with 21 classic touring cars. Here we go. 5, 6, and away we go. Right, let's quickly go and check on what's going on. Kirilov has got a good start as he leads away from Talviti. He's on the inside for turn 1, and it looks as if he's going to get it. So Talviti's going to be second, then it's Ted Hurt. And is everyone going to make it through cleanly? It looks to be the case. John Van der Geest just rounding out the field. He did not have a good qualifying. Everyone is indeed through cleanly. So let's look back up to the front as the Porsches scrap over P1. Ted Hurt having a look to the inside of Tony Talviti, and Galuzzi and Jonzo are going side by side over 4th position as they've both gone past Shaba Lacco. Up the hill they go. Looks as if Labioda's dropped to the back, just ahead of Jose Branco. But everyone still appears to be relatively okay. Over the crest of the hill they go. And it's Kirilov, Talviti, Hurt, Jonzo, and Galuzzi. Now, does everyone keep their wheels within the track limits in the final corner? Or is anyone going to dip wheels wide as we saw happening in qualifying? You can't push too much or it's going to end in tears. Here we go. And we'll be able to see the initial gaps as well when we complete the opening lap of the race. And see exactly how the order is. It's a much shorter lap here than it is on a lot of the other circuits. Across the line they go. Kirilov, Talviti, Hurt, and a move for 9th place there. Martikainen dragging his way past Mazurek, and it looks as if Gutierrez is coming through as well in the Mazda. Makes it stick. Jolly good, yeah, makes it stick indeed. Now is everyone through cleanly? Looks as if Jari Lakkinen must have had an incident because he's dropped a long way behind the field. But anyway, everyone still running in this race, and that's good to see. Gutierrez has just got past Martikainen in the twistier parts. That's where the Mercedes really struggles. It's fast on the straights, but as soon as you reach the twistier parts, it struggles. And it's a much wider track here than at Mexico City as well, so more opportunities to overtake. Jeez, that Merc is a barge, says Roger Hines. Yeah, indeed it is. You wait till you see the last run at Mexico City. It was absolutely flying past people on the straights and dropping back in the corners. Went from something like 15th to 5th on the very first straight of the race, and then held it and finished 4th, I think. But yeah, anyway. So, coming towards the end of the second lap of the race, we'll see if anyone can make a move going down into turn 1. This appears to be the best overtaking opportunity of the lap, as you have a bit of a strike. Carroll up there extending his lead out first lap of the race, as to be expected from the second lap of the race. But still less than a second ahead of Talviti, who in turn is less than a second ahead of her. So it's still close for the top 3. Mark Jonzo following them through in 4th position, relatively close as well. Now, because this is a shorter track than a lot of the others on the series, we might well be seeing more traffic than at other races, especially since the field appears a little bit spread out from the head to the tail. And also we're going to have pit stop strategy involved as well. I think Shepard's just passed Lons there for 7th, so the championship leader's been demoted a place. And yes, indeed, Max Shepard up into 7th. They're just chasing down Shaba Lako, who himself is right behind Galuzzi. Galuzzi not having the greatest start to this race, not quite as well as he was doing last time out, although Mexico City really suited the Toyota. And Roll Posma says, I love that Toyota, a beautiful car, even starred in a Bond movie. Indeed it did. Now I wouldn't be able to tell you which one that is, because I, fun fact, have never actually seen any of the James Bond movies. I know, shocker. But anyway, I'm sure Max Shepard will know. She's a big movie fan. Maxime Tendel there, breaking into the top 15, passing Grucock, and John Van der Gees coming through as well. I like the way Roll Posma says John didn't put much effort into that skin, or is it a sleeper? I actually think he put a lot of effort into that skin. Oh, as he gets a little bit sideways. It's quite a genius livery there, making it look deliberately rusty, as if it's been dragged out of a barn after 50 years. I think it looks great, really. It's got a bit of a lemon style charm to it, and it's just being passed there by Grucock, but Grucock's going to struggle in the corners. That heavy Mustang is going to be a pain to get stopped, and John Van der Gees keeps it in 16th place, although he will be pretty gutted to be down in 16th. John Van der Gees usually a bit more competitive than this. No disrespect to John. Now here's a good scrap going on over 5th position. Galuzzi, Lako, Shepard, ooh, banging doors. Shepard up the inside of Lako, and gets through, it seems. That looked fair enough, just door-to-door contact. That kind of thing happens in touring car racing. Now, can Laurent Lons capitalise? I think he can, because Lako just got a little sideways, a little bit of a twitch on. And Lons is very, very close. Now, can he get a slingshot out of the final corner? That's the best way to set up a move into turn 1 here. Here we go then. Out of the final turn. It's a long corner. It's a good job these cars don't have much error, actually, because if they did, they would not be able to follow each other through that. But doing a very good job so far. And Galuzzi there sticking in front of his opponent. Not reacting to the pressure too badly, which is always good to see. And continuing on his way, he knows that he has the position fairly and squarely for now, and he has the right to that place so long as he can hold off Shepard behind. Sorry about that little audio glitch there. Remember as well, we will have a pit stop strategy later on in this race. Everyone will need to make a pit stop for all 4 tyres. And that means as well, there's more opportunities for the order to be shaken up. Galuzzi's got over the grass, and Shepard's going to be alongside him now as they go down through the sweepers. It's a difficult place to be alongside another car. And this may back Shepard up into Lako as well. Shepard around the outside of Galuzzi. Still there, but he's still going to be on, oh, she's still going to be on the outside for the final turn. But gets it. Good move from Shepard and a mistake from Galuzzi, possibly just feeling a little bit of the pressure from behind. And now is going to have to reclaim it on the straight, if at all. Here we go, slingshot for Galuzzi maybe. Looks to be going a little wider on the exit. Yeah, Shepard got a better exit there, and look at Lacko coming through. Lacko now on the outside. Oh, looks as if Lackonen is out of the race, I'm afraid. But anyway, Lacko is still on the outside, but turn 1 happens to be a left-hander. If he can keep it there, he may still be on the inside for turn 2. He does! Really good car placement for Shabalako. Very, very good. Ooh, that's so close. You couldn't put a blanket between the two of them there. You could throw one over the top of them though. And they're still side by side. This is brilliant. 20 or 30 seconds maybe of side by side action, and Galuzzi gets out on top. Lons is now there, but he's going to have to go the long way around, and does. So Lacko maybe... Oh no, never mind. Lons had to back out. It looks as if the hunter may have just become the hunted, but not exactly. Meanwhile, looks as if Phil Brown's dropping down the order a bit, down to P16. Van de Geest, Starber and Tendler have all just got past him, having their own little scrap over the lower positions of the top 15. Points here go down to 23rd, and there are 21 cars, so everyone is going to be scoring points today. But still, ideally you want to be in the top 10 to score significant points in this championship. Dagger up the inside of Van de Geest. Well, Toyota does appear pretty slippy through the air. Fairly good in the straights. That's why it was so competitive last time out at Mexico City. It was just a very good all-rounder of a car. But the Ford Escort is notoriously the all-rounder of cars in history, and holds off the Toyota. Tyndall all over the back in his little 60s sports car based on a 50s sports car. Up the inside. Not bad at all from Tyndall. I think he might claim that position there in what is probably the oldest car on the grid. The oldest design on the grid anyway. Oh, that's close. Looks as if he was going to move over there. Not sure Dagger quite expected him to move that late. And somehow they didn't come together. Good heads-up driving from both of them. It may not have been as close as it looked. I've only seen one camera view, but still. Dagger 14th, Tyndall 15th. And Phil Brown coming through, is he? He's close, he's got a drive. Phil Brown might be about to break back into the top 15 after what I presume was a mistake earlier on. Either that or maybe one car got through and he just got out of the rhythm, which can very much happen in series like this. Side by side they go. And meanwhile Lacko and Galuzzi fighting. Just want to see the outcome of this. Ooh, Dagger sideways. And Phil Brown almost had a look, but was going to have to go the long way around on the grass if he was going to get it. Right, let's look up to 6th and 7th. Lacko is indeed ahead of Galuzzi. Sorry we missed it, but in races like this, you don't know where to look. Shepard also right on the back of Jonzo up ahead. Don't want to miss that. But Galuzzi still right there. Okay, let's have a look at Max Shepard quickly. Oh, Jonzo got a bit of a twitch on that. Shepard with a much better exit. Gonna be held up a little though. There's no way through. That push is relatively wide, and it's also the only rear-engined car in the field, or mid-engined you could call it. And as a result, it's difficult to catch, difficult to pass. And has very, very good balance through the corners. The BMW does as well, but it's a little more top heavy and front heavy too. Has a good balance, but not quite as good as the Porsche. It tends to rely more on its pure grunt and German engineering. Here we go, Shepard on the straight. A little too far back. Good evening to Brett Metcalf, who's also just joined us in the YouTube chat. You've joined us in the middle of a titanic scrap for 4th position between Jonzo and Shepard here, with Lacko and Galuzzi scrapping over 6th in the background. Galuzzi there, I think, just passed Lacko, and yes he did. The Toyota comes into view ahead of the Escort. Oh, and Lon's right there as well, our championship leader, wanting to get in on the action. But I think Shepard might be about to go for it on the inside. He does. Doesn't leave his braking later though. Oh, and look at that! And there's a good reason, and that's because Jonzo has completely messed up the braking zone. He's gone wide. Does he rejoin safely? He does. But he's going to be passed by Shepard, Galuzzi, Lacko, and maybe Lons. Lons is on the outside. And I think Will managed to get him. So Lons up to 7th. Jonzo from 4th all the way down to 8th. And that's an easy mistake to make in Jonzo's defence. Just locked up the brakes and wide he went. He was a little distracted by Shepard trying to get through. But yeah, hats off to Shepard. She forced a mistake. And through she went. Even though it was a mistake from Jonzo, which ultimately sealed the deal. So that's that anyway. Let's look back up at 5th place. Galuzzi and Lacko have swapped a couple of times already in this race. And maybe about to swap again, judging by how hard they're still battling. I think Jonzo is aiming to immediately get back past Lon. Actually, look at Lacko on the inside of Galuzzi. Still there on the brakes. Galuzzi four-wheel drifting a little, running wide, but that's okay because the next corner is a right-hander. Keeps that 5th position. Now, importantly, Galuzzi is scoring more points than his main championship rival Lons in this race so far. I'm just going to work out how many more actually, because this could be a very important scrap for the championship fight. This, of course, the penultimate round of the championship. It's getting close. So, in terms of points, 5th place is worth 28, and 7th is worth 24. So that's 4. Wow, so they would go into the final round separated by 3 points in favour of Lons. If they were to finish like this. Both of them, of course, have made every single round of this championship, which is important because this series really favours attendance, really rewards attendance. Shabalako is an outside shot of the championship, still potentially in contention, but he's going to be losing points to his main championship rival, Kirill Kirilov, in this. And Kirilov himself is going to be claiming a fairly sizable points tally. My apologies. And right as I look back, Lacko and Galuzzi are side by side again, with Lacko on the inside up towards turn 1, and he's further ahead this time around than he was a lap ago. Sorry, rather dusty in this desert. I've got sand in my nose. Anyway, Lacko ahead of Galuzzi, so he's made the move stick. He was further alongside than he was a lap ago. And that's important because it meant that Galuzzi wasn't able to stick it up the inside for turn 2 and had to concede the place. So it's Lacko 5th, Galuzzi 6th, Lon 7th, Jonzo 8th in this 4-way scrap that we're watching in front of us now. Bless you, says my Papa H1. Thank you. And Brett Metcalf, thank you both. Brett says, I only recognise one name on the grid, John Vannegeese. It's been a while. Wow, I'm surprised by that. I would have expected that you'd have raced a bunch of these other guys as well. Surely you've raced Johnny Gutierrez. I know that, well, I think Brett's another R-Factor 2 guy, if I remember correctly. Much like Johnny Gutierrez. A lot of these drivers are quite experienced in SimRacingOnline, but yeah, I must admit there are a lot of new faces, and that's always good to see because yeah, it's great to have a fresh cast of people enjoying what SRO has to offer. And if you want to get involved in Sim Racing Online, you very much can. It's completely free so long as you have the simulator already, and potentially mods if we're using any paid content. As Galuzzi defending hard from Lons. John Vandegeest getting a couple of places, going up to P11 there. But yeah, as I was saying, it's completely free to sign up, and we have series in a lot of different simulators for you to enjoy. Assetto Corsa, Assetto Corsa Competizioni, R Factor 2, R Factor 1, Automobilista, Project Cars 2, potentially other leagues coming up as well. I know in the past we've done some on Race 07 and may do some more in the future. So yeah, it's wide open, and all you need to do is go to simracingonline.co.uk and make an account and sign up for any of the leagues that we have on offer, and turn up. You don't even need to find a team. You can just drive as race as a privateer like I do. But anyway, back to the action. We have Lons and Jonzo, who have been so close to each other all lap long. Lons started this lap by attacking Galuzzi, but it really appears that Jonzo is the bigger threat at the minute. Wasn't able to pull a move that time around, and he will be kicking himself for that mistake he made, because it has cost him several positions in the race order, surely. Now Mazda right there, just past Stefan Legodin. Legodin in one of 3 Mazda RX-3s. I remember at the start of the season, we only had 1. So good to see 3 on the grid. One of my favourite cars in the field with the rotary engine. Sounds amazing, looks amazing, and races amazing. It was second last time out in the hands of Johnny Gutierrez. And now... And it was also first at Monaco, remember? Not going quite so well so far, although Ted Hurt is the top non-Porsche in 3rd place. The Porsche does appear to be the strongest car here today, much as it was in Bajkanieki at the start of this year, although it's been a much closer series than that would suggest, as Monaco, Mexico and Interlagos were wide open. And it looked almost as if the Ford Mustang, or maybe even the Mercedes, were potentially the strongest cars. Of course, we had a Ford Mustang winning in Interlagos with Jeffrey Ruskas, Mazda RX-3 won in Monaco with Ted Hurt, and then Mexico was won by a Toyota 2000 GT with Lorenzo Galuzzi. All of those drivers except for Ruskas in the field today. And Kirill Kirilov, if he was to win this, would be the 5th different winner from 5 races, which just shows you how unpredictable it's been. But, you know, we're still in the first half of this race. It is still far too early to call. Christian Dauger, meanwhile, has got past Stefan Legodin into 14th place. Maxim Tendel right on the back of Legodin as well. One thing that always annoys me about Assetto Corsa is that it doesn't really show you a move until a long time after it's been finished, and as a result, you end up missing everything. But anyway, let's keep an eye on Tendel. He looks quite racy on the back of Legodin through here. Actually, no, I'm going to quickly switch to Lons and Galuzzi before I miss anything. Less than half a second separating these two. Oh, and I think Legodin's had a little off there. He has. Oh, and I think right as I switched away from the fight between Legodin and Tendel, they've had a coming together, because Tendel went off as well. They were both fighting each other, and whether they did touch or not, or whether they just both went off in sympathy of each other, I'm not entirely sure, but whatever, they've dropped out of the top 15, so that elevates Sid Drake and Phil Brown into the top 15. Shame for both of them, although luckily they are both still in the race. And still the only driver we've actually lost from the order is Jari Lakkonen. Not meaning to curse anything, but whatever. Lons dropped back from Galuzzi a little in that sector. Jonzo got a bit closer. Lacko actually not giving up on Shepherd either, less than a second behind that. But yeah, this race about to get even more unpredictable. It's been an unpredictable one so far, but we are about to enter the pit stop window. There is no official pit stop window, but you can pit anytime you like. But a lot of drivers choose to pit between the 30-minute and 40-minute mark in the race, so that's only 6.5 minutes from now. But yeah. Brett Metcalf says, "I'll be back in 2021." Great. That's great to hear. Actually, I'll be excited to race against you again, and yeah, good to hear you. Roll Plasma says, "Difficult to race for me due to health problems." Oh, I hope you're okay, Roll, and yeah, wishing you the best. Hope to see you on the grid again at some point. But yeah. And that's 2 names that Brett Metcalf remembers. Jolly good. Hopefully you remember me. Anyway. Yeah, I know I definitely raced against you in the past, Brett. But, okay, there we go. Yeah, Brett does remember me. Jelly good. Shabalaka getting a lot closer to Max Shepherd in all of this. That's the closest he's been in a long time. Shepherd, I think, got past Lacko near the start of the race, as they were caught up in traffic and other cars. But yeah, right on the back of him again. Over 4th position. Similar looking car shapes, the BMW and the Escort. The Escort was very popular in rallying back in the day, and rallycross. Famously, a lot of rallycross championships were comprised of just Escorts, completely by accident, because a lot of the other cars became quite obsolete very quickly, and Escorts were the car to have. And BMWs weren't quite used quite so much for rallycross back in the day, but they were popular with touring car racing and endurance racing. Well, that was their forte. But very evenly matched on track, and yeah, as I was saying, similar body shapes, different kind of philosophies in cars. So the Escort was an amazing all-rounder. Very good. It was reliable. It was quick. It was stable. The BMW was a little more understeery, although very fast. Lots of power in it. It was almost like a muscle car, but of course, being German, it was also engineered very well, and it was reliable for the 60s. You can see Dauger there and Majoret going side by side in the background. Just caught that at the bottom of the hill. Brett Metcalf says, "As always, wonderful commentary, Caitlin." Thank you very much, Brett. Great to hear that you're enjoying it. And someone else who's enjoying it is John Van der Geest, who has just broken into the top 10 for the first time this race. He dropped down to the very back of the grid on the first lap, but he has just managed to work his way past Kimi Martikainen in the Mercedes and through into 10th position. I was saying earlier on he wasn't having a great day, but looks as if he's redeeming himself. I want to go back and check where he actually qualified, because I don't know quite why he found himself so far down the order at the start there. But whatever the case, he is on a good recovery drive. Martikainen there almost coming back at him on the straight. Now Van der Geest actually qualified 15th, so it was just that he had a poor qualifying, and then also potentially a poor start to just add insult to injury. But he's recovered, and he's now much higher up the order than he qualified. He's a better race driver than a qualifier, and he's demonstrating that once again. Martikainen has the legs in the straight, goes to the outside, but Van der Geest will get through on the corner. Mazurek into the pits. He's one of our first pit stoppers. But everyone will need to make that stop. Martikainen once again to the outside. Van der Geest once again has the grip. Talking of different design philosophies in cars. Kimi Martikainen there. The only driver in the Mercedes, but has been really making it work this year. Didn't have a great start to the season, but last time out at Mexico City had the standout performance of the year. Absolutely rocketed past everyone on the straight every single time, and almost got a podium from it. It was quite something. But yeah, the Mercedes very much set up for straight line speed, had so much power, but it was hugely heavy. I believe that kind of Mercedes, actually, when it came out, the 300 SL, SEL, sorry, as Max Shepard pits from 4th place. But as I was saying, I believe the 300 SEL was the most expensive car in the world when it came out. I may be getting that confused with another similar looking AMG, but whatever. It came second in the Spa 24 Hours. And yeah, it was very much set up for straight line speed. Shepard slow to get away from the box there. Looked as if he stalled she stalled briefly, and then finally got the car running. Oh, and look at that! They're going 3 wide with Martikainen. There's going to be contact there, and Shepard goes around. Oh, Martikainen pulls off, but Christian Dauger got involved. Had a little touch, and that was just unfortunate there. I'm not sure Shepard knew they were 3 wide. Van der Geest and Martikainen came flying up the inside, and well, I'm afraid to say, I love Max Shepard. She's a great person, but she did kind of turn in on them there. Probably didn't know they were 3 wide. But that is me speaking from just having seen one camera angle. So Shepard now 13th, long way down the order. Ted Hur in the pits. Martikainen actually came off worse, 16th. Did Martikainen give way to Shepard? I may have completely missed that, actually, because I was looking back at the... Yeah, Martikainen actually gave way to Shepard. Now, I'm a little surprised by that, because I'm not sure he actually needed to. But did so anyway. And if he did indeed feel that was his fault, then that's very good sportsmanship from Martikainen, so very, very good. Gutierrez also in the pits, so 2 of the Mazda RX-3s are in. Apologies to Mac if I did just, blame her without, without getting the full story. I'm not a race steward, but anyway. Phil Brown also pits, and it'll be interesting to see how that's affected the order and how it will end up looking once other drivers have made their stops. Van der Geest in, Gutierrez in, Tendil in, Brown in. When are the leaders going to pit? The Porsches are still out there, as is Lackinen and Galuzzi. Possibly this time round. I'll be keeping an eye on that. Meanwhile, here's Ted Hur in one of the liveries we haven't seen yet this season of Mazda RX-3. Running pretty well. Has a great shot of a podium today. Tony Talviti into the pits. Now this is important. Where does Talviti come out in relation to her? I think there were 4 seconds between them before they stopped. There or thereabouts. Lacko, also in. Galuzzi also in. So keep an eye on those guys and where they come out. Ignore the Mustang there. That's Grewcock. He's a lap down. Out comes Talviti. Where's her? Appears to be a little way down actually. Yeah, her still coming around the final corner, so I believe lost a little time there. Lacko, I think it's going to be closer between her and Lacko actually. Is Lacko going to jump her? He does. They're going to be side by side, are they? Into turn 1. Her around the outside. Oh, that was close. But he does stick it ahead of Shabalako. I'm going to go back and check actually what the gap was between Ho and Talviti before the stop. It was 7 seconds, and it's... Oh, actually, it is about the same now, so my apologies. They didn't lose much time at all. But anyway, Martikainen also into the pits in the Mercedes. Dropping down the order. But yeah, actually, Ho didn't lose that much time at all. Maybe a second or so, but that's not really going to matter much in the grand scheme of things. Especially since he did still manage to keep it ahead of Shabalako, but it is so much closer between those two. I'm interested to see how this one turns out, whether Lacko can maybe launch an attack over third position, I think, in the effective order, depending on where Lons and Jonzo come out. Lons is in the pits, Jonzo stays out, so Jonzo will go through to second for the time being. Now Talviti is going to go through almost instantly. Lons stops in his box, so Talviti goes through. Here comes Ho through the final corner, with Lacko towing him. If you're wondering why Ted Ho's name isn't pronounced as Ted Hoff, I thought it would be as well, but yeah, according to Shepard anyway, she knows her and his name is pronounced as that. But anyway, Lacko and Lons very, very close, but Lacko still manages to hold off Lons. Slight twitch in turn 2, but yeah, the order has just about stayed the same between the two of them. But yeah, that's got them so much closer than before. Shepard and Dargan are fighting, although Darga also yet to stop. Kirilov into the pits from the race lead. And this is potentially the most important pit stop. Where does Kirilov come out? He had about a 30-second gap to Jonzo, so Kirilov, in fact, may even still be in the lead after his stop, especially if Jonzo pits this time around. We know that Jonzo will pit eventually, of course. Through go various back markers, and Kirilov is going to exit the pits, still in the lead as Jonzo pits behind. I saw that in the background. So Kirilov has a huge advantage in this race. Absolutely massive. We'll see exactly what it is when Talviti goes through. So Talviti retakes second. Ho, I think, is going to retake third, depending on how long Jonzo's stop is. The gap for the lead is 12.5 seconds. That's big, and he's got plenty of buffer room to play with. Now where's Jonzo? Still in the pits. So Ho's gone through. Jonzo exits now, and he's going to be 6th, because Sid Drake is too far back, and also Drake has also not yet stopped. So it's Kirilov, Talviti, Ho, Lacko, Lons, and Jonzo. That much is for sure. Those are the top 6 for the time being. Darga's now pitted right after Shepard got through. But let's look at Lacko. Lacko challenging Ho for that 3rd position. Goes to the right-hand side, into the braking zone, up the hill. He's still on the inside, is he? It's a right-hander next. Ooh, not quite. Ho defends, chops off his front. Not literally, luckily. Lons right behind them. 3 different cars, 3 very similar body plans. 3 very different drivers, all fighting over this podium position. This is only Ho's 2nd race in SimRacingOnline. His first was at Monaco and he won it. And he's hoping to keep up a 100% podium streak here. Shabalako, a much more experienced driver in SimRacingOnline. Ho has previously been racing classic single-seaters in various leagues, and probably some other stuff as well. But that's all I know about what he's done. Lauren Lons, of course, much more experienced. He hasn't won a SimRacingOnline championship yet. This will be his first if he wins it, but he's got close. Finished 2nd in a couple of them. He's won a couple of rounds of the SRO Ferrari 458 Challenge Cup recently, as well as one round of the GTL Classic Sports Car Championship, in which he was in a Daytona. Sorry, Pantera, not Daytona. But has to fight hard with this man, Shabalako. These two are the prime contenders in the championship, and they are scrapping over 4th place. Who's got a bit of breathing air there? But this is an important scrap, not just in terms of this race, but in terms of the standings, and in terms of who will come away from this championship with the trophy. My apologies, actually, it's not Lons and Lacko who are 1st and 2nd in the championship. Lacko is 3rd in the championship, but this is still important because Lacko, of course, is 3rd and still is an outsider in this championship. What happened to Lorenzo Galizzi, actually? Galizzi's dropped a long way down the order from where he was, because Galizzi was right up in this fight earlier, and now he's down in 9th behind Max Shepard, who had the incident. So something may have happened to Galizzi that I didn't see. Apologies for missing that, but that is very important in the championship, because Galizzi was going to be taking points out of Lons, but now he's going to be losing points to Laurent Lons in all of this. And that is a big shame for Galizzi. Now, so Lons is currently 5th. He's going for 4th position. 5th place, as I said earlier, is worth 28 points. And 9th, actually no, Galizzi is going to be 8th because Drake is still yet to stop. But 8th is worth 22 points. That's a 6-point difference. There's already a 7-point difference. So that's going to be 13 points going into the final round. And that's going to be a comfortable buffer for Laurent Lons to have. So actually, if I was Laurent Lons now, it will be all about keeping it clean for the remainder of the race. You don't necessarily need to score a podium here. I know he'd like one, but, you know, can't risk going off. Amazingly, Lons has only got 2 podiums out of the 4 races we've had so far this year. But still, he's leading the championship. It's been a very close one this whole way through. But it just shows you how close the series has been. 5 different winners, and sadly a lot of them haven't made the full series. Those winners, of course, Lorenzo Galizzi has made every race this year. He's the only winner who has done. Jeffrey Ruskas has made 3 of the 5. Tony Talviti, 3 of the 5. And then as well, Ted Hur, 2 of the 5. And those are our 5 winners of this series so far. Kirill Kirilov looks to be about to make it 5 out of 5 different winners. However, he missed a round. I think he missed into Lagos, if I remember correctly. And he will go into the final round of the season as an outside champion shot, I suppose. But realistically, he's not going to get it because of that one missed round, which is a shame. I think he would probably be on course to pretty much wrap up the championship today otherwise. But you know, it is what it is. You've got to make every round. Brett Metcalf says, I'm not familiar with Assetto Corsa. Are there different tyre compounds in this particular series? I don't think so. I don't think classic touring cars used to have different tyre compounds, except for maybe dry and wet. You know, that kind of stuff is a more kind of modern concept, but yeah, from what I've heard, I don't think so. Interesting to see Sid Drake staying out for so long, though. I'm pretty sure he hasn't stopped. Apologies if I missed that, but he was a long way down the order at the start, so I presume he hasn't stopped. And he's still running in 7th position there, about to come under attack from Max Shepard. And now he pits, so indeed he does make his pit stop. I knew I wasn't going batty. I do that every single round. I look at someone, I go, they haven't stopped, and then I think, wait, have they? I just start darting myself. And and then I find out I didn't even need to, but anyway. That's how it goes sometimes. So, with 17 minutes left, as near as makes not much difference, Kiro Kirillov is still leading this race, ahead of Tony Talbiti, Ted Hur, Shabalake, Laurent Lunds, Mark Jonzo, Max Shepard, Lorenzo Galuzzi, John Van der Geest, and Johnny Gutierrez, the top 10. Then it's Sid Drake, who has just recovered to the order in P11. Then a battle going on for P12 between Mazurek and Brar. Then it's Martikainen, Lagodin, Tendil, Labioda, Darga, Grukok, and Branko. And luckily, we still have 20 of the 21 cars in this race. However, I may have spoken too soon there, because Labioda is back in the pits. I think he's already made a stop, so this may be an unscheduled one. Again, unless I'm very much mistaken. But anyway, we'll see if he recovers to the race. It's a reassuring sign that he drove in rather than teleported in, because if someone teleports in, that normally means they've had an accident. Close fight between Mazurek and Brown for P12. That's what we're watching now. Less than half a second between them. Phil Brown, the only driver to have taken an MGB GT for this entire series. It's a lovely looking old British turret. Looks very different at the front to how it does at the back, I've noticed. You look at the front of that car and then the back and you think, wait, that's the same vehicle? I'm not sure if that's only me that gets that, but yeah. Almost looks like it has a moustache because of the grille there. Very British looking. And here he comes in the slipstream. You don't get much for slipstream in these cars, but it's something. And he goes to the inside anyway. And gets 12th place, does he? Not quite. Mazurek using the banking of the corner to his advantage. Keeping it in 12th place. But yeah, Brown was very close there. Someone backfired quite heavily going down into the... I think that was Sid Drake in the BMW going into the turn 2. But yeah, that was an interesting noise his car made there. Don't think I've heard that one before. I'm pretty sure there aren't mechanical reliability issues here, but anyway. Brown back to the outside of Mazurek. And going for a switchback. That's a clever switchback, but he's on the outside. And may need to go for another switchback if he's going to keep up that momentum. Does exactly that. Down the hill they go. Mazurek going very defensive, Brown going very wide. Having to light up the rear tyres almost to keep it on the road almost. And losing time and all of that. I think he just misjudged it slightly. But yeah, he was very close to getting through there. It was almost a great move. Who was it who pulled... I wonder if it was Phil Brown who pulled that amazing switchback manoeuvre last time out at Mexico City. There was someone who pulled an amazing move on Kimi Martikainen last time out in the S's at Mexico City, and got up into a podium place as a result, I think. Can't remember who that was. Could have been Phil Brown. If anyone remembers, please let me know. But whatever. So, actually no, I think it may have been Paul Anstey in the Toyota 2000 GT. So, 13 minutes left in this race now. The pit stop stages are over. I don't think that anyone still needs to make a stop. I think it is very much behind us. So it is a straight dash to the finish now. Who got their strategy right? Who maybe stayed out a bit too long or pitted a bit too early. It's not hugely effective in this car, or not hugely... It doesn't matter that much because tyres don't tend to go off very quickly. And, you know, a lot of the cars run very similar amounts of fuel. And they don't tend to refuel either, but anyway. Yeah, not entirely sure how much the strategy affects things, but it's certainly not as much as in other series. But still, we do have a straight dash to the flag. Let's see where some of the battles are. Lauren Lunds, less than 1.5 seconds behind Chava Lacko still, but Lacko I think is slowly getting away in that 4th place, because they were right together earlier on. And I think that's about it for now, but that's okay. There's still plenty of time in this race for things to happen. This is the stage in the race where the drivers are having to just be careful. Just make sure they don't make any silly errors. It's an easy track to make errors at. It's one that I can almost guarantee a lot of these drivers, probably almost all of these drivers, have never raced at before. And it's a difficult one to... Well, it's uncompromising, that's the thing. You know, you make a mistake, ooh, just like Phil Brown is demonstrating that, and you dip wheels in the grass or the sand. Sometimes it can pull you wide. I think Guy Martin may have crashed a Formula 1 car here at one point. Someone did, anyway. Towards the final corner of the lap, and it looks as if I think that's... Is that Kirilov coming through? Oh, Brown's been startled off the road a little. But yeah. Yeah, that was Kirilov coming through that, putting a lap on Brown, who ducked off the road. Pretty drastically, I'm afraid to say, but still, you know, does the trick. Let's have a look at... In fact, let's run on board with Kirilov. We haven't had any good on-board action yet today. I love the relaxing drone of the Porsche engine as he laps Michal Mazurek there. And this is how a race leader and a race winner does it. Millimetre perfect there, running right out to the outside lane on the exit of turn 2. Bit of opposite lock up the hill, that's okay. These cars are designed to do that. Turn in far before the second apex and preempt it. It's completely blind, so you have to preempt it. Down the hill, dabbling on the brakes. Up the hill on the other side again. Little bit of understeer, but that's to be expected with these cars in race trim. Not that race trim is much different to qualifying trim, it's mainly just the way that they're driven and the way that the fuel affects things, but anyway. Interesting, I don't think he's... Well, I don't think he lifted off too much through the first part of the final turn there. I'll call it the penultimate turn. But, yeah, it was clear he wasn't full on the throttle, but never did a complete lift. It was very fast through there. Not easily fast, but faster than some of the other drivers have been taking it. Kirilov doing a great job out in front. 14 seconds almost in the lead, with less than 9 minutes remaining in this race. Let's have a look at Kimi Martikainen again. Sliding out the Mercedes, that's brilliant. Now he's about to be lapped by Tony Talviti, so hopefully this goes cleanly. He'll be seeing blue flags on his screen, I expect. Talviti will go through here, does he? Martikainen brakes, and indeed through goes Talviti. So that was nicely and cleanly done. The Mercedes looks very much out of place in this field. It is by far the heaviest and largest car, even compared to the Mustangs, or even the what was the other Ford that we saw near the start of the season? The Ford Fairlane, that's it. Yeah, it was even heavy compared to that. But yeah, classic car in its own right. Famous in Safari rallying, as well as classic endurance racing, the Spa 24 Hours, etc. And Yeah, real historic racing car. I believe I've seen one in real life actually at the Brooklands, or the Mercedes-Benz Museum at Brooklands. Looks just as big in person as it does in the game, but anyway. Completing a lap there in P14. Hasn't been a great drive from him so far, but not a particularly bad one either. He had that one incident with Max Shepard, which I believe he blamed himself for. I'm not so sure, but still a very sporting driver is Kimi Matikainen, and it's always great to see him and the Mercedes on the grid. He ended up in the ocean in Monaco, interestingly enough. Went for a dive in the harbour completely by accident. Didn't see how it happened, but anyway, was the only driver to manage to do that. Who else should we have a look at? Make sure you request a driver if you want in the YouTube chat who we can have a look at while not much is going on. Here's Ted Ho, who I've been speaking about a little already today. He's just lapped a couple of cars. You can see he's managed to put one car between him and Shabalako, who is still in with a shot of this podium. And that, I think, is Christian Darger there, who's a lap down. But yeah, this, as I said earlier, this is only Ted Ho's second SimRacingOnline race. He is intending to be at the Poznan race in 2 weeks' time. So I'm looking forward to him racing in that as well. But yeah. One thing I've noticed is that he's qualified in the second row of the grid both times. He was third in Monaco, and I think fourth today. So quite a consistent driver in terms of his qualifying performances, and also in terms of the race as well, as shown by the fact he's going to score his second podium today. Second podium from 2 races, if it finishes like this, but still can't get too complacent. Shabalako may have just lost a bit of time there trying to get past Christian Darger, but he's still there, he's still quick, he's still Shabalako. So if Ted Ho makes a mistake, Lako is going to be right there. Here we go, up the hill again. And notice that it's getting close actually for 9th place. John Van der Geest and Johnny Gutierrez. Van der Geest in the Escort, Gutierrez in the Mazda. And only 4 and a bit minutes for it to change. So Gutierrez needs to get a move on here. But yeah, his last lap was a lot quicker than Van der Geest's. Been catching him for a couple of laps it seems. And also 10-0 now within a second of Lagodin. That's the fight for 15th position, although dropping back a little now. So a couple of battles resuming on the circuit as Lebioda there gets well out of the way of this this scrap. Did not want to hold them up at all. I presume that was deliberate anyway. Down in 19th position. He did return to this race. Of course, he was in the pits for the second time. And have we had a second retirement? Yes, we have. Jose Branco is out. So 19 cars remaining out of the 21 that started. Sorry, that's not a bad record actually. It's been a rather nice and clean race. Max Shepard was telling me before the race started, you know, expect a lot of crashes today. We haven't seen any. So take that. You underestimate your opponents, my friend. But anyway, through the final turn, Brown's just got past Mazurek for 12th place. Indeed, making that stick. Jolly good. And side by side on the pit straight, Gutierrez and Van der Geest. Gutierrez on the outside in the Mazda, and making it stick. Gutierrez, who finished second last time out, is now up into 9th position. And they're both now going to have to be careful because they've got Kirill Kirilov coming through. That's not Jonzo, because Jonzo is a few seconds up the road from them in a similarly liveried Porsche. Kirilov, sorry, alongside Van der Geest. Van der Geest backs off, and now he's probably or possibly going to try to follow Kirilov past Gutierrez. But Gutierrez isn't going to want to give up too much time here. He knows, as Kirilov dips a wheel into the grass there, that was a little hairy. But he knows he's still in a fight with Van der Geest, and if he loses too much time in this, Van der Geest might be right back through for 9th place. We're heading on to what will be the final lap of the race now with Kirilov, and he passes Johnny Gutierrez cleanly. But yeah, on we go to the final lap of the race, as we have under a lap time's worth left on the timer. Van der Geest there got a better exit to the corner than Gutierrez. May be able to challenge on this lap. Getting closer and closer, goes to the right hand side, tries to do exactly what Gutierrez did on him a lap ago. And they're almost rubbing doors as they go down into turn 1. Oh, and they do rub doors and they touch. And around goes Gutierrez. He has a half spin. Drake's going to go through, so Sid Drake takes 10th. That is Lebioda, who's a lap down. So Gutierrez is still going to be 11th. But yeah, that does elevate Sid Drake into the top 10. And yeah, that ended in tears a little. It's hard to judge whose fault that was. Because, yeah, Gutierrez was locking up. Van der Geest also came in. It was a similar looking accident to the Martikainen Shepherd incident. But anyway, I don't want to blame anyone for that. We'll see how they judge that after the race. But anyway, Gutierrez is going to be 11th. Van der Geest is going to be 9th. And that looks that looks to be how they're going to finish this. So Kirilov now is on the final lap. He's heading up towards the final few corners. It has been a dominant display from the Porsche driver. He's led from the start, and it's going to be a lights to flag finish for Kirill. Absolutely brilliant. His first victory of the season. He becomes the 5th different winner from 5 races, and the championship goes well and truly to the final round. Kirilov crosses the line and wins at Willow Springs. Now Tony Talviti will be second, 13.4 seconds down. But he has also driven a very good race today. Ted Hur is going to be third. A 100% podium streak for Ted Hur. And to be honest, I think I'm going to rate Ted Hur as my driver of the day, much as I think he was in Monaco. Here he comes. 3rd place goes to Ted Hur. Very, very good drive from him as well. Shabalaka will be P4. Technically keeps his championship drive alive, although it's going to be tough for him, especially since he has now been passed by Kirilov for 3rd in the championship, I think. Laurent Luns will lead the title going into the final round by, I think, about 7 points. I'll recalculate it, but anyway. Jonzo is 6th. Shepherd will be 7th. Then it will be Lorenzo Galuzzi. So, the top 10 in this race: Kirilov, Talviti, Hur, Lacker, Luns, Jonzo, Shepherd, Galuzzi, Van der Geest and Drake. Well done to all of those guys. And then just missing out on the top 10, Gutierrez after that last lap spin, as Galuzzi spins it just after the line. Brown, Mazurek, Martikainen, Lagodin, Tendil, Darga, and here comes Grukok. Actually, he's going to be the last person across the line in P18. I think a lap down, but wasn't quite 2 laps down. He was just ahead of the leader when Kirilov finished. Lebioda was 19th, and then outside, or not finishing, were Jose Branco and also Jari Lakkinen, who retired early on in the race. So that's that. Anyway, let me just work out actually what the gap for the lead in the championship is. So 5th place worth 28 points. 8th place worth 22. So indeed, it is a 13-point gap. So that's quite significant going into the final round. That is like if Galuzzi needs to win with Lons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6th, although it's not quite as simple as that. It's not over yet, but anyway, Laurent Lons has got one step closer, and he will be hoping that he can score a victory in the final round of the championship, which will be at Tour Poznan in 2 weeks' time. So anyway, thank you all for watching today, and I appreciate you all dropping in and following this all the way through. Thank you to everyone who was active in the YouTube chat, and yeah, I will see you in 2 weeks' time for a fast and furious race around the Tour Poznan circuit in Poland. See you then.